The following is a presentation of Morning Drive Media.
Do that again. Broadcasting from beautiful, sexy, steamy Studio City, California, this is the Knapsack Files podcast feed. I'm Ken Knapsack for another edition of Life Ranked. It is simple. A special guest comes in. We have a topic, preferably one close to their heart, and they bring me a list of the 5 things to back that topic. And tonight we have one that is going to be educational, it's going to be entertaining, it's going to be fun, it's going to be everything. And I have with me a man I met on TV fights over on Screen Junkies, and he's everything you need in a digital media discussion expert. He's funny, he's entertaining,
I think you're
he's
overselling
smart.
me quite a bit, actually.
It's DJ Wooldridge.
Hello.
How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. I'm doing all right. I'm sitting here. I'm admiring your Simpsons memorabilia.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. I'm doing amazing right now.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, man. You were great on TV fights, and of course, you've done a lot of stuff.
I wasn't great. I've lost every time I've been on. I'm not great
Losing
at TV
and winning
fights.
don't necessarily matter. It's the impression.
Okay.
It's
All
the
right.
impression you
I
leave.
appreciate that.
And you left an impression on the fans and me. You're also from. You did a lot of stuff over SourceFed Nerd.
I did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also Only Stupid Answers podcast.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that because I'm not familiar with that. I know of Sam and I definitely know you. But what do you guys do together?
Obviously, Sam and I work a lot at SourceFed Nerd, and we like talking about pretty much everything. So we're like, hey, let's talk about movies, TV, comics, and sometimes ghosts. Sam's really into ghosts, so that comes up. That comes up every once in a while.
That was the curveball.
That
I
was the
didn't
curveball.
expect.
Yeah, and so pretty much it's mostly entertainment stuff, but occasionally we'll talk about like future tech, the paranormal.
The future is where tech is the future.
The tech is the
you know
future,
that?
yeah.
You know that, DJ?
So that's Only Stupid Answers, and you
yeah.
can find us on Audio Boom and iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play Music.
Stitcher and all that stuff.
Yeah, Spotify.
I got to get myself on Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify's fun. I think we're trying to get on iHeartRadio.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. That's the big time,
Yeah,
kid.
so we're working on it.
Yeah. You got Radio Go Picture with that. And also, you are an author of comic books.
I am now. I loved comics for a long time, grew up with them, and it was time to take my shot. You know what I mean? So, I've worked on some short films, and the thing is, you can only shoot what you can afford.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of like people talking in a room.
Whispering.
Yes, it's intense and like, oh yeah.
Everyone reshooting Hard 8 from Paul Lester.
Exactly. So I was like, I wanted to try and do a comic, and I wanted to do something that was specifically like a comic idea, like something I saw as like, this is meant to be a comic.
Yes.
And I had this idea, zombies versus dinosaurs, and it wouldn't leave me alone. And so as crazy as it seemed, I'm like, this is it. This is the one.
What is the mental picture of DJ laying in bed at night? Your wife saying, "Go to bed, honey."
Yeah.
And you're like, zombies, dinosaurs.
No, it started off as a joke. I was like, what if, like, because the Dawn of the Dead remake, I feel like most zombie movies end with like, we're going to go someplace tropical to avoid the zombies. But specifically the Dawn of the Dead remake where they sail to an island, I was like, what if that island is the Jurassic Park island? Right?
Oh, so like they get off the boat thinking they're safe?
Yeah. And then I was like, that's stupid. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, oh, damn, I can make that work. And of course, somebody's on the boat's bitten.
Yeah.
And they never tell, right? And so you've got the zombies, you've got the dinosaurs. And it was so fun. And it was something that was just, the cool thing about comics is that any idea can fly. Like anything can work there. And so I was like, this is it. This is, I wanted to try something a little bit different for myself. And it's a blast. I've got explosions. I got people being stepped on by dinosaurs. I got people being eaten alive by zombies. It's got everything.
It's definitely a comic book idea, and you've put this all together into a one-shot book called Chaos Theory: Zombies versus Dinosaurs.
Yes,
and we're going to talk more about the end of it at the end of this episode, guys, where you can go support this idea and support DJ's work. But this is definitely a comic book idea.
Yes,
but this is cinematic, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Well, hopefully you read it. You can take a look at some of the early pages and stuff at chaostheorycomic.com.
Okay.
You can go support me there because making a comic is expensive.
It's very expensive.
You got to pay the artists because they also have to eat food and keep the lights on, and you have to publish it, print it.
Yeah.
And so to raise that money, I've started an Indiegogo campaign, and so far so good. So far it's going really well.
Is it? Are you like me? Because I have a Patreon page now for this podcast feed. After I started in 2013, I just launched it this year. Because I'm afraid why would anyone want to support me? I have those issues.
Yeah.
Is it you are at the time of this recording? You're coming up on 75% of your goal. That's number one, awesome.
Thank you.
Two, are you able to accept that grace, DJ?
Well, here's the thing. I did this for a short film. I need to go for a short film, and that was a little bit weirder because it's one of those like you get the short.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a pay it forward situation. Like no matter what tier you choose, you get the comic.
Yeah.
And so there's a product. And that makes me feel a little bit more like, but it is weird though. It is
because we're all artists at heart, and we're all kind of a little afraid and self-loathing or worried, or there's some part of our soul that snapped a little bit as artists.
Yeah,
so it's a weird.
You got it.
It's a weird spot, but it's so great. It must feel you've built up an audience on your other things, and so it's nice to know that people are going to follow you on this adventure.
Yeah, it is, and hopefully I believe that once they get their hands on it, they'll be like, oh, this is amazing. But there's that so like. I hope you guys love it.
I was watching the stuff today on it. Your kind of your what do you call it? The video of saying, hey, here's what we're doing, and it looks great. It looks fun, and I'm looking at this. There's someone riding a large dinosaur bird. Is that a Is that a creature you created?
No, here's the thing. Like the scientists now believe that dinosaurs had feathers.
Right. Well, you go to the LA Zoo. There's dinosaurs sitting there.
Exactly. So the thing is, like, there's two types of dinosaurs. There's the ones that are kind of a better genetic stock because obviously there's mad science involved as there is with this stuff. And so the kind of the more robust, more accurate dinosaurs have the feathers, and the ones that are kind of a little bit the test batch is like your Jurassic Park ones, and those may or may not be able to become zombie dinosaurs. You'll have to read to find out.
The cover is great. Tell me a little bit of the cover because you have someone special who did that, right?
Yeah, Tom Neely, who's indie comics legend. He's worked on comics like The Humans that was published in Image Comics. He's worked on his own creator-owned stuff like The Blot and Henry and Glenn Forever, and so he's a pretty important name in the indie comics game, and I was really lucky to get him. And then my artist Pietro Antonioni is from Brazil. He's an up and comer that's doing great, and I'm really lucked out. I feel really blessed to have the team I have on this.
Yeah,
because it's the kind of thing like you need to get the right tone. You need to get the right tone for people to get like how they should take in the book.
And that's. When it comes to like, I've thought of, I have a comic idea. It's easy in your head to be like, that, like you said, if you read comics enough, that's a comic book idea. It's daunting to try to put together.
It really is, and that's one of the things it's good that I have the collaborators I have to make sure I don't screw up because there's a lot of it's just a different it's a different experience. It was a different experience for me writing because like I've read comics a lot, but not as like critically as because I decided at a young age I was like I want to be a filmmaker, and so you start watching movies a certain way, and I did not read comics in the same way. I was just soaking them up, and so then suddenly I started to go like so if my colorist has a question of like. Yeah, that's a good question. I need to go look at some comics to see how other people did it and be like, this is what I want. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at the pages. It looks great. Again, folks, Chaos Theory, Zombies vs. Dinosaurs. You can go support it right now. We'll come back to that at the end of the show. But this is truly an independent comic. It is one man's vision. He's doing it on his own. He doesn't have a big machine behind it yet. Maybe down the line, Chaos Theory, the series. You never know. But there's something pure about the independent comic scene. It's so fun. I got back into comics a couple years ago after Tiffany Smith. I was working with her, and she pounded me over the head, said, you must get back into comics.
That's how it happens.
I read the toy books in the 80s. My Robotech, my Transformers, my G.I. Joe. Robotech?
Listen, not Robotech, but that's the reason why anybody that loves Transformers and G.I. Joe and all that stuff, it's because of those comics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's not because of the shows. It's not because of the cartoons.
No, not the show. Yeah. The show was fun. But the comics, man. The comics, man. So I'm familiar with the big stuff. I have a couple indie comics on my stack that I get over at Earth 2 in Northridge. I got some stuff, but I wanted
Earth 2's great. Earth 2's a great shop.
Great shop.
My main shop is House of Secrets in Burbank.
Oh, yeah.
But if for some reason I forget to put something on my list and they sell out Earth 2, I go to Earth 2.
Go to Earth 2. That's where I head over there. Chris and Brandon and the crew over there. I've been going there since I started back in. But I thought, DJ, it'd be perfect since you are now in the indie comic scene.
I am.
You are charging into it to go over the top 5 independent comics that we need to know right now.
Yes.
And we're going to discuss it, have fun, and you out there listening, you will pick up some tips on how to entertain yourself.
Yeah,
that's right. DJ and I are providing a service. So
and with most of these books, you can pick them up on Comixology online, or there's websites that you can find your local shop, something close to you. We're blessed. We're in LA.
Yeah.
So we're honoring them.
I could throw a book of comics.
When I was living in Florida, not so easy.
Not so much. Yeah, my hometown, there's only a couple there up in Pismo, but we are here there. So I want you to take me through it, and I'll learn along with the audience, and we go from 5 to 1. So dig in, DJ.
Okay. So I was a little intimidated by this one because there's a lot of indie comics, and when people look at you like, "Hey, man, you're an expert," it's like, "Well, no, but thank you." And so it's one of those you don't want to screw it up because there's somebody in there like, "Wait, you chose that." So I'm picking ones that I'm currently reading that I think are great. I did want to start off with, because I don't know if people understand the scope of independent comics. Right. So I wanted to do a biggie. Obviously, you got like stuff like The Goon or Hellboy that people might have heard of, especially Hellboy, got a movie with Guillermo del Toro. But I don't know if a lot of people know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started off as the most indie comic.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was super indie. It was super violent. It was a black and white comic. Made by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird.
Okay.
And I don't know who exactly. Some producer was like, boom, kids cartoon, and it became a sensation. But at the time, it was just a riff on the popular comics at the time, which was X-Men, which is where you get the mutant stuff, and Daredevil, which is where you get the ninja stuff.
See, this is great. I'm not versed in turtles, man. I'm not versed in turtles. I was off playing with my Transformers and G.I. Joes during that era.
Wait, but not the turtles?
But not the turtles. I never got into it.
Yeah, because for me, it was a little bit of G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes primarily. Love Snake Eyes.
Oh, yeah, the silent issue, man.
Yeah, exactly. And then Transformers and Ninja Turtles were where was that for me.
So, but see, I also had some restrictions on me growing up on the level of violence I could intake from my parents. But if I had started Turtles, maybe what you're just suggesting, the right way, I might have been into it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I think the first dealing with Shredder ends with Leonardo cutting his head off. Yeah, so it was a different animal.
It was a different take.
It was a different animal, but that's kind of like a lot of indie comics have become huge, and like you got Spawn, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But I don't think any have blown up. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. Sure. I don't think any indie comic has blown up like the Ninja Turtles. Like they're a cultural mainstay now.
No, that is a generational changing property there.
And this was like old school, like printing it up themselves and like handing it out to people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was
like staples in the middle of the book.
Yeah.
When you said 87 that started?
Ooh, let me check. I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
I should have put that in my notes.
No. I mean, it's fine. I'm throwing things at you there. But it's got to be around that time. I'm just wondering, I guess my question is how long did it stay as an indie comic?
My understanding was it was a pretty quick turnaround.
Right.
Technically, there's still an indie comic. They're being published by IDW, which I've heard. I picked up some of them. 1980. It says here May 1984.
Oh wow!
So
yeah. So I got 84 to 2010 is where I'm seeing on this original run.
Yeah.
But we're gathering stuff here fast on the internet. So. Okay, so
and it looks like the toy line started coming out. They started dealing with the Playmates toys in 1987. Yeah, so it's just like a few year turnaround, which
So that's like 3 years of it staying to what it was intended to be. And hey, props to these guys for creating something that gets picked up and goes.
Yeah.
If Mattel comes to you down the line and says, DJ, Chaos Theory, be great toys.
People have said to me like, do you see this something? It's like the only as I try to think about it, I could only. What sticks out to me is something animated, just because it's so crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you try to do like Pride and Prejudice and zombies or whatever, just kind of
it could go wrong.
It could go. It's a premise that could go wrong quick.
Yeah. And it's like imagine just looking at your pictures on the design on Chaos Theory that it's got a fun edge to it as well.
Yes, it's definitely not something meant to be taken super seriously.
So we're not talking AMC's unless they want to pick it up. And make a serious.
here's the thing. There's some things that you can like. that are open to different interpretations.
Yeah.
Like most remakes don't need to happen.
Yeah.
But like I feel like something like Escape from New York you could remake with a very different tone and it would still work because the tone for that movie is very specific, but the premise is open to interpretation.
Right.
I don't know if Chaos Theory is one of those, but I'm willing to be proven wrong.
Just trying to prop up your property in many ways. What grabbed you about Turtles early? What stuck
I think
to you?
I think there's a lot to be said for like kids entertainment where you got characters with distinct personalities that are followed up with color coding.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I always liked, I've always been a Raph guy, and that's followed me through pretty much every, like whoever the guy is with the bad attitude and it helps if his color's red, I'm on board with him.
You're there.
As a kid, there's Raphael, Wolverine.
Yeah.
I checked out the Voltron, the new Voltron on Netflix.
Right.
Keith, red, bad temper. He's my boy. I'm on board with him. I don't know why.
So is that and so having worked on some stuff with some friends over at like Cartoon Network and everything, the shapes and this and that, it's a science.
Yeah, man, like it works. And it's like, and you got them. I don't know. It's the colorful fun. Got the color coded things that didn't work for Power Rangers. You know,
right.
Color coded, big personalities.
That's
you're good to go. It helps to have a brain monster.
Exemplified greatly in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The comic started in '84. Did you collect them all? Was there a point you stopped?
I don't have any of them.
Oh, you don't have any? You're
the original. The original.
Gotcha.
I've picked up some of the new run by IDW, and that's really good. Some of the original creators
is great.
Are back on board with that one.
Okay.
But like those, if you got any of those classic comics, man, you could sell that for so much money.
Sell it and get a condo, kids.
Yeah.
So
if
that's
I had
number 5.
any of those, I probably would not have to have an Indiegogo for my comic. I could just sell the one, and I'd be good to go.
But life takes you where you need to go. So that is number 5, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Classic, big. So now we're going on to the next one?
Yep.
All right, so this one's more like, we're getting now into more modern stuff. I tried to get a little like cross-section of the kind of the stuff that I'm into right now. A lot of these are Image comics. Image is doing great work with the indie work, with the indie stuff. I didn't put one of my all-time favorites on this list, 100 Bullets. Because it's under the Vertigo imprint, and that's technically DC, so I don't know if it counts.
It's not pure indie.
It's not, you know what I mean? So, but
it's like when a record label in the '90s, when I was a rock DJ, would get purchased by some bigger group,
and you're like, but this is the same creators, Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Risso, and it's called Moonshine. It's new. I think issue 5 is coming out.
I'm excited because I've seen this on the shelf.
Yeah.
And I haven't pulled it off yet because I'm like, I want to make sure.
Now, I'm a hardcore, like with 100 Bullets, it was a giant crime epic. I read the whole thing.
Yeah.
That sold me. Anytime these creators do anything, I will buy it. Okay. I will say it might be in your best interest to wait for the trade. So it's one story because it's kind of starting slow. But it's the basic premise is,
well, that first cover, I'm looking at it. That's why it's a moon and the 3 guys in the suits. It's a great cover.
So your Prohibition era, right?
Okay.
You got this guy working for the big gang in New York who's going to Virginia. I want to say it's West Virginia to pick up this moonshine that this one family, this one redneck backwoods family is making. That's just blowing all the others away. So he's trying to sell it in New York. Twist: the patriarch of that backwoods family is a werewolf. So these creators plus old school gangsters plus werewolves, it's like just take all my money right now because
I'm glad I know that because sometimes I'm kind of a history buff guy and everything, like a Boardwalk Empire fan. So that's why I was late into it. But sometimes if there's a switch that's otherworldly, I'll pull out if I didn't know it was coming. I just said words that I shouldn't put in a sentence together. But if I know going in, Manifest Destiny is a comic. That I knew going in was a Lewis and Clark take, and it was going to be supernatural. And I was in. That's one of my favorite books. So now that I know
supernatural, just a little.
You're teaching me the right way.
And it's taking its time getting there, but it's building the world. These creators are really good. No, I don't think anybody in the game is better, Brian Azzarello, than that pulpy like old school dialogue, and Eduardo Risso is just a great. There's a group of artists that are kind of called like cartoonists because they've got a very expressive style, and his style's like that, but it's got a great noir tone. I'm probably not doing justice, but if you like Boardwalk Empire and you'd be like, down with werewolves, check it out.
I mean, Silver Bullet scared me as a kid in the '80s. It's a scary movie.
Perfect.
But that sounds. I'm so glad you brought that up. It looks every time I pass it by at Earth 2, I'll look and be like, is this the week I add it? But I think you're right. I'll wait for a trade.
Yeah, wait for the trade. Pick it up. Really like Boardwalk Empire, by the way. It was season 3 and 4 top notch.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We could do another hour on how.
There you go.
Unfortunately, it ended in the way that it did. I mean, I was fine with the ending. But the rush, it felt.
Yeah.
A little rush. But yeah, there's some stuff on. Yeah. All right, that's another show. So Moonshine is number 4 on the list.
Yes.
Interesting. You can hear my voice get excited because now DJ is helping me shop at my shop. So number 3.
Number 3 is Motor Girl by Terry Moore. This is one of 2 books on here that are written and drawn by the same guy. Terry Moore is a legend.
Okay.
Now, this is my first comic of his picking it up. He did a comic called Rachel Rising, which was a horror book that I heard amazing things about. He did Strangers in Paradise, which was like a romance comic that I heard amazing things about. And so when Motor Girl started, I think it's only on issue 3 now. When Motor Girl started, I was like, okay, now's the time. Now's the time for me to pick up a Terry Moore comic, and I'm glad I did. So you got a girl working in a junkyard.
Okay.
With her best friend, who's a talking gorilla, and they fix alien spaceships that crash landed in the junkyard.
When you talk about ideas that are perfect for comic books, that, kids, is how you do it.
Now, it's not as straightforward as I make it sound right there, but that's
that's not straightforward at all.
Not straightforward at all. But that's and it's just one of those when you get a really great creator that's both a talented writer and a great artist, it's perfect. It's like the medium at its best,
right?
Because there's no lag time between the idea and what's on the page,
Right. I'm reading the little right. It's got an Area 51 investigator. It's got things I like, DJ.
Yeah,
it's got things I like.
It's really it's fun. It's funny. It's got a little bit of pathos. It's really like a really fine tuned. It's one of those like when you keep hearing something like, oh, this is great, and like, okay, sure, and then you check it out and you're like, oh no, this is great. Terry Moore is legitimately great.
Well, it's like if you were to pitch, say, something like when I was first told to pick up Saga, which I'm love, still reading,
which may or may not be the next one on my list.
Well, we'll talk about that, but we'll get to that. But it's like you just on paper, you're like, wow, that's a lot of crazy things going on.
Yeah,
but if you put things together and you got a talking gorilla and UFOs and a girl building motorcycles, you got a winning source. That looks great. I'm interested in that too.
Yeah, again, and it's just started, so it should be easy to catch up with because sometimes you get a little deep into it. And it's hard to get.
I'm trying, son. You mentioned with Moonshine waiting for the trade. I am trying as I run out of space in my room to wait for trades. But there's something fun about collecting month to month and having the covers in your hand.
Yeah, I'm 6 long boxes deep in my room, and it's one of those like I need to start thinking about my situation.
Yes, and I have space for 2 more long boxes.
Yeah,
but those parts of the shelves currently are full of Funko Pops.
Fair.
So I don't know what I'm going to do.
What are you going to do next? It's the questions that we have to deal with on our day-to-day lives.
And do I sell series that I've already read?
Yeah,
and that's tough.
Yeah, even if they're like bad.
Yeah,
like I've got full runs and I'm like, that's not good. But I don't know where to get. Do I go to eBay? I don't know.
Right. There was a series I had started reading, and it was great. It was intriguing, but after a while, I was like, why am I still reading this? It's called Suicide Risk.
Okay.
And it went, and it started a great premise, superhero kind of off, and it got into bizarre stuff. It was good, but there was a while I'm like, what am I going to do with these? I have like 40s. I'm never going to read these again.
There's been a few times where I'll start picking up a comic, thinking it's a limited series.
Yeah.
And then like I get through one arc and it's like, oh, it's an ongoing. Well, goodbye. I'm sorry. It was fun while it lasted.
It got some space. I must live in a normal society.
Yeah.
So Motor Girl is
it's the superhero comics that really eat up the space.
Is it? Well,
for me at least.
Because they go. Yeah. I mean, I've got so many Star Wars stuff, as you know, I'm a Star Wars guy.
Yes.
And Marvel, thank God, 2014 came back, and Dark Horse, though I love the Dark Horse stuff. I mean, there's a new series every other month.
Yeah, they're really cranking them out. They just launched, as of this recording, they just launched the Darth Maul comic.
I haven't picked up yet. I'm excited about that. But the Darth, and I love it. I'm going to buy every one of them.
Yep.
Even the ones
they're counting on it.
They're counting on it.
Yeah.
They know they've got me. Even ones like the Chewie one was my favorite. I bought all 5. Of course I'm going to buy all 5.
You need to know. It's all canon now.
It's all canon.
You need to know.
It all matters. There's so much stuff. I love getting locked in a good story. So Motor Girl sounds interesting. That is number 3 on your list. Number 2?
Is Saga.
Oh,
yeah. You called it. Saga,
and you know, it's so fun. I wouldn't even think of it, DJ, as an independent comic because it's just so everywhere within our community of comic readers.
Yeah. And it's a great way to hook people. It's a great way to be like, hey, like, no, I'm not in the comics because I don't like the cape and tight stuff. I'm like, well, hold on, let me tell you about Saga.
Yeah.
Brian K. Vaughan, known for doing Y the Last Man, which is another big classic. He did Ex Machina. What hasn't he done? He's got another ongoing indie comic called Paper Girls.
Paper Girls is great too. It came out rather the Stranger Things vibe in that is I like Paper Girls a little bit. I love Stranger Things. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, don't tweet me. Don't hate me. Love Stranger Things, but I read Paper Girls. I was like, this is kind of more interesting to me.
And that has Cliff Chang on it, who's one of my favorite artists. But Saga is Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples.
Yeah,
she's amazing. Like that art in that book is amazing.
Oh, it's something else.
And that's one of those books that they literally gave themselves a license to tell any kind of story they want, whenever.
It's batshit, but
in
the most normal living universe way. It seems like a livable world.
Yeah, and it's just because it's a trick that a lot of people haven't quite figured out. Like the characters behave in human ways, so you could have, there's magic, there's fantasy, there's sci-fi, there's ghosts, there's living planet-eating monsters, but the situation of like a mom and a dad trying to take care of their kid is relatable.
I mean, to those who haven't, I could just try to read the description. That doesn't even capture it. Like the description of the series is heavily influenced by Star Wars. Sure. Yeah. There's blasters in space.
Yeah.
But that's about it. But it is kind of a Romeo. It starts out of a Romeo and Juliet type story.
Yes.
Alana and Marco are from two warring planets and species, and they end up getting together and having a daughter, and that's kind of where you pick up the series, and then it just goes into it's an amazing saga.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's name.
And with the Romeo and Juliet stuff, that's very true. But it's also more practical in that there's the messiness of relationships that those stories don't normally dive into. It's very messy. It's a messy book.
And you got there's a villain at first named Prince Robot, who is a walking, talking, shooting, killing TV.
Yep. And the things that pop up on his TV monitor when he's down it is not for kids.
It is not. This isn't a Saturday morning cartoon.
No.
I'm glad you mentioned that. And again, I it's so just everywhere in my world that I wouldn't think of it as independent. But if you're out there listening and you're getting excited for these stories, definitely, if you have not taken in Saga, give it a try.
You would do yourself a lot of justice to just take a look at the stuff that Image Comics puts out on a regular basis, because they've got a lot of, that's kind of where a lot of like the top creators, when they're like, hey, I'm kind of tired of the superhero stuff, they go to make their own stuff, and they're really doing great work. Like Vertigo in the 90s with like Animal Man and Swamp Thing and 100 Bullets and all that stuff. Image is that now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Love it. Saga is everything it is cracked up to be, kids. So that is so. To recap, we got number 5, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Number 4, Moonshine.
Yes.
Number 3, Motor Girl, which sounds interesting. I have not even aware of that. I think I've seen the cover in the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
Now it's on my screen. Saga, number 2. If that's number 2, sir, number 1's got a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Indie classic, all right. Another self-published situation originally, but then couldn't keep up, like just the pressures of that, it couldn't sustain. And so now they're with Image. The new run's with Image. It's a comic called Stray Bullets by David Lapham. Again, written and drawn, black and white comic like Motor Girl. And it's been around. The original one was 41 issues over years. It was another one of those that I was like, oh, Stray Bullets, man, you got to check out Stray Bullets. Stray Bullets is just one of those, like, you just the holy grail kind of a things. And it was years in between issue 40 and 41 that wrapped up the original series, and so it got picked up by Image. Image put out 41, and the first issue of now each arc is its own standalone mini-series, basically. So you can find Stray Bullets Killers, and then they're in the middle of Stray Bullets Sunshine and Roses right now. And it's just a little, it's to call it a sprawling crime epic like takes away from, it's a sprawling intimate crime story about much of those little guys just trying to eke out a living, and a lot of the arcs take the same characters, but it'll jump around in times. Like I didn't start till Killers, which was well into this Stray Bullet saga. So I would say you can start with any arc that you want to.
You wouldn't get lost.
No, and I don't know if it's come across in the stuff. I love the crime stuff.
It has. Yeah, I was going to ask you.
I like crime fiction. Southern Bastards is another good one from Image.
Yep.
Their shipping schedule's a little lax, but yeah. So this is probably the best crime comic out there right now.
Okay.
And again, just great, just really solid, great storytelling, great pacing, great characters. Yeah. That's Stray Bullets.
Stray Bullets. What draws you to the crime caper stuff?
I don't know. That's a good question. But I like crime movies too. It's something about like Tarantino, Scorsese.
Sure.
Michael Mann.
Yeah.
And it's the similar thing with the comics. And I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Same thing with westerns. Maybe it's because you're not dealing with like space aliens and stuff like that. There's a little more focus on like the dialogue, and the pacing. And so when that's done right, it just really scratches my itch. Yeah,
I totally get it, man. I like true crime. I get into true crime a lot.
Did you American Crime Story? Did you catch that?
You talking about the OJ one?
Yeah.
No, absolutely, absolutely. That was and fascinating stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I like. You mentioned Michael Mann. I actually like Public Enemies because that book by Brian Burroughs is one of my favorite books.
Yeah.
If it just reads like a movie. It was hard for the movie to capture. Like I call that. I love the movie, but I call it a B because it was just so hard to capture the full story.
I had a similar issue with The Road. Which Cormac McCarthy book. That's one of my favorite books ever.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I sat in the theater, and the director also did The Proposition, which was a Western that I love with Guy Pearce. And so I was like, this is going to be great. And then like as the movie was going, I was like, I didn't think about how hard it would be to make a movie out of this. It didn't occur to me that part of what makes the book special is the language of it.
Yeah. Which, and you talk about these comics, I think Saga has some kind of TV deal in the works, but I don't know.
I don't know how you do it.
I don't know how you could do it.
I don't know who would take it, and I also don't know. It's one of those things that it's kind of perfect in the form that it's in.
Yeah.
But like with Game of Thrones, I've not read those books. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But I watched the show.
Yeah.
So maybe it's for those people.
It could be. And I mean, George Martin wrote those books to never be adapted, and look what happened. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But something like that, a series like Stray Bullets. Stray Bullets, is it straight ahead? I mean, it's just pretty much is what it is. Crime, right? I mean, it's
there's no
UFOs landing.
No. There's like the Sunshine and Roses kind of takes place where these couple young kids that are in love and crazy and dumb decide to rob the kind of like the local crime boss who works out of a strip club, and everything goes wrong. Just everything. Chaos. And currently they're on the run. They're staying at the girl's mom's place, and then you get all the moms. There's a whole issue just dealing with the mom's baggage that's just focused on her and her backstory, and it's just fun and creative.
Yeah.
And it's just a very, very well written crime story.
That's great. And for those out there listening, like DJ said, I am not a superhero guy. Anyone who's followed me for a while, I loved Fraction's Hawkeye run because it was the least superhero book. Hot Guy.
Yeah.
And Pizza Dog and Kate Bishop on the road in LA. And independent comics, but comics in general, but the indies, these fascinating stories that you might think, now you might want more Iron Man. He's out there for you. But there is so many great stories in the comic world, like DJ was saying up top, that are great ideas that are comic based, that are wild, like what he's working on with Chaos Theory, but also straight ahead stuff.
Yeah,
straight ahead crime stuff.
Yeah, if there's a
romance
genre,
stuff.
Yeah, if there's a genre you're into, it exists in the comic book world. You just have to find it.
And get there now, so you can be one of those smug know-it-alls that says, "I read the comic first."
Yeah, exactly. And it's just way better.
That is a great list. I appreciate the passion and the knowledge for independent comics.
I do what I can.
You do what you do, and you do what you can, and you're doing what you want right now in creating a independent comic, putting your voice out there. You're kind of putting your money where the mouth is.
Trying.
That's sometimes hard when we're in that media discussion world and we're breaking down everyone else's work, and you've made films and you've done all those kind of things, but to dive into the waters that we're playing in, that's not easy.
It's been a fun challenge. It's been I've been enjoying it. It's been cool to, I don't know, it's cool to see something you love from a different angle, you know, and try and capture the stuff that you appreciate about the genre. Because when I try to think of stories, like I usually perceive them as a type of medium, and so it was cool to like try and like make a comic work and try and distill what are the things that when you're reading something and you like it, why do you like it, and can you recreate that?
Where were some of the biggest struggles in translating or making the story into a comic? You know, I'm just coming from a screenwriter point of view or storytelling point of view. Where were the hiccups? Where were the biggest things where you're like, oh, this is a different medium?
As with most writing different mediums, big struggle is learning the format of the scripts and how people expect to see them. So that was fun. And
did you just draw crayons? Picture look like this.
Well, you know, I did try to, for my artist, I did try once or twice to like do a sketch note, and I was so embarrassed by it. I was like, never again. Never again. I'm going to find another way to convey my thoughts.
Then the stick figure dinosaur ate the stick figure zombie.
So kind of figuring out what people expect to see from the script, and then just kind of figuring out how to convey. Pacing is a big part because, you know, when I work a lot as an editor, I work as an editor at Source of a Nerd, and so you have control of the pacing there. Yeah. But and the comic is just between you and the artist, and kind of like figuring out the way the page works, and I just poured through comics that I thought were particularly standout because I don't want to make an okay comic. I want to make a great comic. Yeah, you know. I pulled up a bunch of the great comics. I was like, okay, so what did you know?
That's smart. You're researching, which is that's to pause sometimes to put that research into writing is and what you're doing is key, but often overlooked. Yeah, it's like. You dive into a novel and you get 6 chapters in and you're done because you don't know how to get out of that jungle that you created for yourself.
Yeah, man, that's one of I would love to write a novel someday, but I'm so daunted because the good thing with comics, making shorts and stuff like that, none of your words are visible. You know what I mean? It's just they're acted out. With the comic, it's like only the words that you choose are visible. So with a novel, it's like, oh man, this whole thing has to be like right.
Yeah, well, I think you're on the right path, and that is so good. So, folks out there, I'm going to talk about it again and let DJ sell a little bit more. It is Chaos Theory Zombies versus Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs is what he's working on. The Undead Battle, the extinct and the craziest comic book clash of 2017. It looks great. You can go to that page now, and where can they find it on?
ChaosTheoryComic.com. Really easy. So, ChaosTheoryComic.com, you go there, you'll see the perks. You can get drawn in the comic as a zombie.
I saw that.
You can get drawn in the comic as one of our intrepid survivors. And then be killed by a zombie or a dinosaur, you can. There's art prints that are signed by the artist, and you'll get the comic either a digital format or a hard copy signed by me.
Absolutely, it is worth it. Check it out. And DJ, you are a comic. You're a comic mind. You're a comic expert, which I hate to call you that because that means you have to live up to that expectation every time you open your mouth.
I'll do what I can.
And where else can they find you and follow all your adventures?
At DJ Talks Trash on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And if you want to follow my podcast with Sam Basher at Only Stupid Answers on Twitter, take out the vowels from stupid because there was not enough room. And Only Stupid Answers on Facebook and Instagram.
That is Only STPD Answers.
Yep, on Twitter.
Sometimes Twitter makes it difficult.
Yep. They're like, no, too many letters. I'm like, okay, well, now what?
That is the way. Thank you for coming on in, DJ Wooldridge.
Thanks for having me.
It's absolutely my pleasure, sir. Chaos Theory, go check it out. We'll see you next time. That has been Life Ranked on the Knapsack Files podcast feed.